What's going on, everybody? Lone Gemini here. In this video we're going to go over Trial of the Gods on the map Forum of Hercules for God of War Ascension. Now my setup is that I'm aligned to Ares. I am using all Fury armor except for my helmet, and that is the battle armor of Ares, only because I'm not ranked high enough to use the war armor of Ares. My weapon is the spear of Ares. Now all of those give me a nice balance of elemental power, damage output, and cooldown reduction. The cooldown reduction is nice because it allows me to use my special attacks more frequently, and the damage output, I mean, you want that, and elemental power lets me use I think it just makes my magics more deadly, I guess. But anyway, that's a pretty good setup for what I've used. My magic is Ares Fury, my relic is Eye of the Wolf, and my relic is Relic of Brutality. Now that's kind of my setup, and that seems to have worked really good for all of the Trial of the Gods maps. The only thing that's tough about the Trial of the Gods, I guess, is the time. I just keep running out of time. So, I mean, that's my setup. So let's kind of get into the strategy of this. The first couple rounds, you really want to try to get to these enemies as fast as possible. You want to not waste any time with this, because obviously the enemies in the later rounds will take more time to kill, so you want to save as much time as possible. Having that said, you want to grapple. These first couple rounds allow you to grapple, at least. I mean, because later on the enemies, you can't grapple them, so it's kind of worthless. So being able to grapple these enemies in the first round really helped, because as you can see, like, as soon as I'm done with one, I'm right on the next one. I don't have to run over to them or anything like that. I can just grapple right where I'm from. Obviously, when you want to try to get gold and silver rounds, because that allows you to get the weapon pickups and the health pickups and the magic pickups. The chests come no matter what because it gives you time, but you want to try to get good rounds in to where you get the spears and things. And the reason you want the spears is because you want to save the equipment for the harder enemies. That and the magic. You want to save your magic and equipment for the harder enemies. Don't use them on the satyrs or the manicores or whatever they're called. Just those are the easy ones. Don't waste them on it. I forgot to mention Hercules' little fist smash with the blue wave. Obviously watch out for that because it will knock you off the map, and there are spikes right below Hercules that you do not want to jump on. And those are the things you have to worry about. Another thing I forgot to mention before I talk about the Cerberus that we're attacking right now, the Satyr Fiends, the ones that turn blue and blow up, those work best when you grapple them because you will shoulder them and they will launch off into a different direction. And that is obviously nice because, it's a one quick hit and it's dead. You don't have to worry about a damn thing. The only thing you have to worry about is making sure that you don't throw one into your teammate. That's the one problem. Anyway, back to the Cerberus. Now, as you saw, I used my spear or the equipment spear I used it all on the Cerberus. And that's what you want to do. You want to use your equipment and your magic on the harder enemies. I mean, obviously. It just deals out more damage and it will save you time, because time is your worst enemy for Trial of the Gods. Don't forget that all the equipment's... Well, actually, I take that back. Just the spear is the only equipment that doesn't have like a cooldown or a timer on it. The sword and the hammer both have a cooldown timer, but there is no sword or hammer on Forum of Hercules, so I'm not really going to talk about those in this video. Okay, so once you've gotten through the first 2 rounds and you're on round 3, this is where Hercules first jumps down, and obviously you just saw that I used the spear on him again. Now, you want to make sure that you keep track of how many spears you have left, because you'll be able to throw a good amount at him first, and then once you only have a couple left, that's when I would do the L1 circle combination to like throw it into the air and have it like rain down spears. You saw that like the first attack that I threw at him. Now, he's already running away, so what you want to try to do with him is use your special attacks in a combination to where you're just doing one right after another. Like do your L1 square combination, L1 triangle combination, do your I don't know, like square, square, hold square, and then square, square, hold triangle. There's 4 special attacks that you can do right after each other, and it kind of like chains them all together if you just keep them going. So like if I do L1 square, then I'll like do square, square, hold square, and then I'll do L1 hold triangle, and just keep doing those in a row until I'm just continuously attacking. Because if you're in one of your special attacks, an enemy attacking you won't be able to attack you, because I mean, I know we're not at a part where he's running away because I'm talking about this for a while, but when you're attacking Hercules, if he's doing one of his attacks, but you're in the middle of one of your special attacks, he won't be able to hit you. So just take a little practice with that, because over time you'll figure out how to do it, and it saves you so much bullshit to where you don't have to block or dodge. You can just keep attacking him, and you may not be hitting him when he's doing, you know, in the middle of his combination or whatever he's trying to hit you with, but it will save you time to where you're just continuously attacking him. So that's kind of how you deal with the harder enemies like the Cerberus, Hercules, and the Centaurs. Just do those 4 combinations over and over and over. Like mix them up, because it just seems to work better, or they chain better when you mix them up. I mean, so I guess that's kind of suggestions on how to deal with those harder enemies. Now, like I said, in these later rounds you won't get very many chances to grapple things, so everything that you can grapple, just go ahead and do it, because these manticores, they're not hard to kill, but if you're able to grapple them, then you don't have to worry about jumping or trying to run towards them. You just save time. So as you saw with this Centaur, I saved my magic to dish out damage to him. I'm doing my special attacks all in a row. And then I'm using my L2, I believe that's the slot for your item, and that's, you know, I'm pretty much just doing all those things in a row. So I mean, between the 4 attacks, the item, and the magic, I mean, that's that's my biggest suggestion on how to deal with these things. Now, the bigger enemies you want to try and kill when they have the red line over their heads. That's also another suggestion, because it will give you bonus time for the brutal kills, and that's kind of what you really want for those. Now, you can, I mean, also at the same time you can save time by skipping the brutal kill and just keep dishing out damage when the, you know, the lines are over their heads. So I mean, you can do it that way too, but I would just suggest doing the red line, because I mean, it's cooler and you get a little bonus time added with it. So if you can't do those, I mean, that's fine. It's not gonna really hurt you, you know, overall, but if you miss too many of them, it will hurt you. So try to get as many as you can, but it's really just a judgment call with those, because sometimes it's better to do it and other times it's not. So you just really have to be careful. One other thing about the Cerberuses, or enemies that you can get on top of and attack other enemies with, like the Cerberus and the Cyclops, those kind of enemies, if there are other enemies around, that's when I would suggest getting on top of the Cerberus and stuff, to where you can spit the fire at them or whatever, because it makes sense to use them to kill other enemies. But if it's the only one that's around, then I would suggest not doing that, because you're just going to be on top of him and waste time trying to kill nothing. I mean, you can press circle to get off of him, but you've already wasted the time getting onto him. So just, unless there's other enemies, don't get on the bigger enemies. Okay, so now we're at the last part, Hercules. I wouldn't treat him any different than I would treat the Cerberus or the Centaur. Just do those 4 special attacks over and over and over. Between you doing that and your partner doing that, I mean, you really can't go wrong. You really need to watch the button combinations for if he picks you up. My partner here actually saves us right there. He did a good job saving my ass. You know, pay attention for moving the sticks back and forth or pressing the button combinations to kill. or whatever. So you just really have to be careful with Hercules in this last part, because he does fuck you up if he gets a hold of you. But once you take him down like this, you just beat the shit out of him and it's over. So anyway, that's my suggestions on how to beat Forum of Hercules on Trial of the Gods co-op. That's my setup, that's how I took care of it, and this is what I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, it's been Lone Gemini, and until next time.
You survived the gauntlet.